Cleveland, do you believe in miracles? Oh my God, the Cleveland Browns pull off a 1917 upset over the undefeated San Francisco 49ers behind a fantastic defense. PJ Walker making some timely throws and a kick that we have seen so many times, Cleveland Browns fans, go through the uprights, did not today. Cleveland Browns, Victory Monday on Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. And let's get joining that everyday crowd. Subscribe to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel, the Everyday Crowd. It's a party over there. You do not want to miss it. And, of course, the show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. Download this GameTime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, guys, I know I wasn't the only one. We all sat there. We all watched Moody line up for that kick. And how many valiant efforts over the years have we seen the Cleveland Browns give only to have a ball like that go through the uprights? Well, the Breaks beat the boys today. And the boys from San Francisco are headed back with their first loss of the season. An amazing effort all around. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz obviously spoke about this matchup. The numbers came up, obviously his previous history against Shanahan and the work he's been able to do to him. But the point is, and this is the most biggest point of all of this today, is Brock Purdy, for the first time in his NFL career, looked ordinary. Brock Purdy, I talked about it on the pregame show. All these nicknames and cute things are trying to give him, not give the guy credit for what he was doing. Well, today, the Cleveland Browns were all over him. They were all over the receivers. There were no wide open throws. And Purdy struggled. There's no doubt about it. With the intensity brought up, with blitzing guys, with guys at his feet, with guys with his, coming at him, Purdy had to move around, was not afforded the luxuries he's had in his past games. Christian McCaffrey, again, got a touchdown today. Christian McCaffrey, for the most part, looked like an ordinary guy today. Deebo Samuel, pretty much a non-factor. Brandon Ayuk, obviously, I told you guys what I thought of him, how good of a player he is. He had a pretty good day. If Purdy had maybe decided to throw the ball more to Ayuk, we would have been in the situation we were. But, hey, I am going to take it. Now, one thing I did talk about on the pregame show, and I talked about for months about the Browns and the San Francisco 49ers matchup, is most of the time you don't only lose to the San Francisco 49ers, you get physically beat up. Well, the Browns were able to reverse that today. Christian McCaffrey did not finish the game. Deebo Samuel did not finish the game. The Browns were going hard. The Browns were intense. The Browns were fired up. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I don't know if I've ever seen him look faster in a Cleveland Browns uniform than he did today. Maybe the little pregame chippiness led to some extra motivation. This Browns defense knew the task was in front of him. And again, credit to Jim Schwartz, because he probably told them guys, if that team scores 20 points or more, there is no chance that we are going to win this game today. I think they took it personal, and they played like that. Tomlinson, are you kidding me? Tomlinson was in the backfield 4 to 5 yards deep. It probably felt more than 5-6 times. He was incredible today. Guys, Myles Garrett, I'm not saying he wasn't a non-factor, but this wasn't a typical Myles Garrett performance. Normally when we talk about the Browns and a top-notch defensive performance, one of the things we always talk about is Myles Garrett. It wasn't him today. It was everybody else. Martin Emerson, his first career interception, which was a huge, huge play at the time, obviously slowed down some of the momentum from the San Francisco 49ers, kept that game close, and all of a sudden now it felt as the longer it went on, the Browns were going to have a shot in this game. I can't talk enough about the secondary. Guys were not open. Guys, the coverage was tight. The coverage was sticky. They were in the backfield. They were blowing up running plays. Obviously the 2 touchdowns, the first drive, okay, saw it. And then all of a sudden, Jim Schwartz went to work. And Jim Schwartz said, okay, you went down the field on me. That's fine. This isn't going to be the case going further. And then you got to that point where it was about 50 minutes into the game. So at the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, I was like, wow, this could possibly be here. This could possibly be for the taking. Now you get to the situation where you were down 17-16. San Francisco's got the ball, 2 and change. Browns have 2 timeouts. And I'm sorry, it was like 3 and change. I'm sorry. The Browns have 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning at their disposal. I understand San Francisco no longer had Christian McCaffrey, but to just go out and throw 3 straight passing plays. First one, obviously, was the intentional grounding, nobody in the area on the pressure on Purdy. Second one, you got that yardage back on the completion to Ayuk. The third one, basically, he just threw it to his mom in the bleachers because there was nothing there and there was pressure in his face. They stepped up, and they stepped up in a tremendous way. They were able to save the timeouts. It didn't necessarily matter for the Browns offense, but you want to talk about a 3 and out. That is one of the biggest and most incredible 3 and outs I have ever seen. Why the 49ers didn't even at least try to run once to drain a timeout, just to even keep their thinking. I mean, look, you didn't have Debo. You didn't have Christian McCaffrey. These guys are just as important to your passing game as they are to your running game. So they went, obviously the coverage was on Kittle. The coverage was on Ayuk. And there was nothing there for Brock Purdy to get. There was nothing to do. And Brock Purdy, he's got legs. He's got mobility. He's not a guy that's just going to go, kill you. He's not, he's certainly obviously not the Lamar Jacksons of the world. He does not have that type of mobility. And it was put in a situation where he had to try and beat that defense with his arm, and it didn't work out. Granted, the young man responded. Browns go up 19-17. San Francisco gets down the field, gets into position. And I got to be honest with you. Here we go. I've seen this play out too many times. And keep in mind, this is 7 years for me covering the Cleveland Browns. You all have been here a lifetime. And the Browns get the fortunes for once. Moody, who had earlier hung one left, obviously this time pushes one. It never comes around. And wide right pandemonium in Cleveland Browns Stadium. The white jerseys. The elf decked out in white at midfield. It was a great, great day for this defense. And the defense is trying to hold this together for this entire team until Deshaun Watson can get back. And you know what? Today, for their efforts, they were rewarded. They were rewarded by an offense that stuck with it, stuck to it. And we're going to go more into detail on that as we continue here. Victory Monday on Locked On Browns. Me and my family, we love going to live events, but the problem is we have such busy and crazy schedules. We don't know what we can go to and when we can go to it. So we're last-minute ticket buyers. It doesn't work out sometimes. We've dealt with some sites. We've gotten screwed over. The tickets weren't in the row or the section we said that we had paid for. It's just a real shame. That's why you should check out GameTime. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the best price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I love the fact they got the last-minute tickets. I love the flash deals. I love the zone deals. I love the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. Heck, they even got job loss protection. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what you expect from when you arrive. All-in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Buy tickets in second with 2 taps. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and sometimes even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section and GameTime picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the GameTime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. PrizePick is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. We have the easiest and most exciting way for you to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePick is the most fun I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on the projected stats, and place your entry. Quick withdrawals, easy game plan, and an enormous section of players and stat types. What makes PrizePick the #1 daily fantasy sports apps. If you had Jerome Ford today, you had Amari Cooper today, and you picked over, guess what? You would have done handsomely. Deebo Samuel under, George Kittle under, you would have done handsomely as well. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com, LockedOnNFL, and use the code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Jeff Lloyd, we continue here. Victory Monday. Cleveland Browns, 1917 winners over the previously undefeated San Francisco 49ers. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd just keeps getting bigger. Let's get that over 7,000. Join the everyday crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And of course, the show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcast. Now, you saw the difference today in playing a veteran in place of Deshaun Watson, DTR. Look, we all know the deal was raw 2 weeks ago. Tell the kid 10:30 in the morning on Sunday, hey, you're getting your first NFL start. Be ready to go against the Baltimore Ravens. We're kicking off at 1. A really difficult spot. Obviously, the young man struggled. The game plan wasn't suited for him. Some of that I will agree was on the coaching, and we're going to get to that here in a second. Of course, PJ Walker just has more experience. He has been in this situation before. He's played against some of the big-time players. And what you saw with PJ Walker is the ability to throw the ball down the field. He's got talent. He doesn't have talent to be a #1 quarterback. Certainly has talent to be a #2 quarterback in the NFL. And they were doing some of the underneath stuff early, and the screen to Njoku that got called back. You know, the screen to Njoku that went for the touchdown that got called back. And I don't want to hear anything on Coach Stefanski today because the play calling was there. Then all of a sudden, let's try to get Amari Cooper involved. Obviously, at the time, looking at what you had offensively, Amari Cooper is your best player. So you want to know what? Let's call some routes for our best player right now. And Amari Cooper delivered 58-yard reception, 27-yard reception, big slant pattern late in the fourth quarter. It was a big day for Coop, and PJ Walker showed his wherewithal in getting the ball to Amari Cooper. Ended up 4 for 108 for Amari Cooper. He's the key to the Browns passing game because once coverage has to dictate to Amari Cooper, all of a sudden, now you've got some issues here because it creates for a lot of underneath stuff to be open. The big 4th down reception to David Bell. A couple of receptions for David Njoku, getting the running backs involved in the receiving game. Kareem Hunt, obviously. Jerome Ford, obviously. Jerome Ford, I'm going to highlight Jerome Ford here. I don't know if the intention was for Kareem Hunt to start today, or maybe if the Browns thought, hey, let's go try and bruise and batter him a little bit. And then we're going to go a little bit faster back in Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford, in the first half, there were a couple of runs, and, you know, I was a little upset because he was trying to do too much. Just get to the hole. Even if you get 3 yards, it's certainly a lot better than -3. And I'm assuming there was a discussion with Jerome Ford at halftime saying, look, we think these plays are there. Jerome, you got to stick to the hole. Just put your head down. And all of a sudden, when he was hitting that hole at peak velocity, 100 million miles an hour, now all of a sudden some tackles were being broken. And all of a sudden, these 2 and 3 yard runs were becoming 4, 5, and 6 yard runs. The 8 yard runs, all of a sudden, were turning into 13, 14 yard runs. The young man ran really, really hard today. I believe the total was 18 for 84. I think Jerome needed to feel a little bit better about himself. Obviously, it's been a whirlwind for Jerome Ford. Obviously, here he was, jumped in week 2, starter week 3, week 4, bad week, and then 2 weeks off of a bad week against the Ravens. Needed this day. Kid played well. Let's give Jerome Ford his due. Now, Kareem Hunt, obviously touchdown early in the game. Very, very impressive on his part. Look, Kareem, whatever speed he had, it ain't coming back. It's this herky-jerky motion, and he's got just enough sometimes that he sees that crease, and he can just do everything he can to hold guys off. If he's going 30, 40 yards, he might get caught. 16 yards, probably not going to get caught. But that was a big, big play today. Obviously brought a lot of life into the building. And what I want to know is how many of you guys sold your tickets, because it looked like there was a lot of San Francisco red there today. But whatever. I hope you enjoyed it at home anyway. That's what matters. But with PJ Walker, and it was very, very impressive on the young man's part. It truly was. Obviously, this is a Cinderella type of story here. You come to Cleveland. Hey, the script is for PJ Walker to never start a game for the Cleveland Browns. You get a start for the Cleveland Browns against the best team in the NFL, a team that was currently 5-0, and you're giving this task. Unfortunately, there were 2 interceptions, of course. One led to a missed field goal. The other one obviously led to a touchdown that put San Francisco back in the lead. I believe at the time it was 17-13. And you had no choice. You had to go back to the guy. And look, there were some throws, obviously a couple of cross the body throws that, oh my Lord. There was the one on the rollout. He didn't hold the ball long enough, because just as he tried to throw it into what looked like triple coverage, the guy on the outside had basically escaped through the hatch and was wide open. PJ didn't see it. And in a scenario like that, you've got 2 options. Find the guy who was absolutely wide open, or you run for as much as you can and you stay in bounds. Either way, the mistake did not hurt PJ Ford, but you did see how the Browns handled it after that. Okay, we're just going to run it. We're going to take our field goal. We are going to rely on the defense to close this one out. But, for PJ, again, it's just, this will be something. PJ Walker will be a name we'll always talk about in Cleveland Brown lore. This could be the only time we see him on the field, maybe the only start he ever gets for the Cleveland Browns. But PJ Walker went out there today, and for the most part, he was a better quarterback today than Brock Purdy. Brock had 1 interception. Obviously, PJ Walker had 2. But PJ Walker made some big-time throws today, some timely throws today. Probably got a little, felt a little in his, feels, I would say, with some of the throws he was making. I'm sure PJ knows those are throws not to be made. But you're out there, you're amped up. You know how big the game is. You know how important the opponent is. You know how well-respected the opponent is. You're trying to do everything you can to will your team to victory. Well, PJ Walker, congratulations, because you did just that. You did just enough. Granted, we did not get an A effort from the San Francisco 49ers, and I do not care. Cleveland Browns, a much-needed win. They go to 3-2 now on the year. We'll get to the rest of it here. I want to give Coach Stefanski some more props, because I think he deserves it for his efforts today. Cleveland Browns, 3-2. Right now, tied for second, I guess you would say, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, the Steelers hold the tiebreakers, but the Browns beat the 49ers, Pittsburgh fans. So just remember that. We're going to get ready to go to segment 3 here, start to close it out, just enjoying every moment of it here today. The Cleveland Browns take down the San Francisco 49ers. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. All you do is look what put in what you are looking for, the job requirements, the experience, then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you would like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Segment 3, closing it out. Victory Monday. Cleveland Browns back in the win column with the big one, knocking the undefeated San Francisco 49ers off the perch. Coach Stefanski, and there was a lot of talk after the Baltimore Ravens game. And, obviously they were trying to throw the ball more than they, probably should have been. Marlon Humphrey just back, Ravens defense just starting to get all their players back. And a lot of criticism, analysts, fans, was Coach Stefanski and his lack of commitment to running the football. And that's understandable. It is. But you look at it today, the Cleveland Browns ran the ball. I just want to get you the accurate total. The Cleveland Browns ran the ball today 34 times. 17 carries, like I said, for Jerome Ford, 84 yards. 12 carries for Kareem Hunt. Obviously, the big reverse Marquise Goodwin for 20 yards. I think it's just Marquise was rusty because I got to be honest with you, Marquise Goodwin, I know, was going to bust that and he was going to take it to the house. But this was the big question about the Raven game because it led to a lot of 3-and-outs. It led to the defense being on the field a lot longer. And so obviously that led to, the Baltimore Ravens hanging the point total on the Browns defense that they did. By committing to the run, staying to the run, and especially in the second half, where it all of a sudden became a ball game, we might need to throw, they just stuck to it. They went at it all day long against this great San Francisco 49ers team. Kudos to the offensive line. There were their laps. And look, if you're a fan of referees, this was probably the game for you. I stopped counting. I felt like it was, 22, 23 penalties in this game. It was disgusting. There was yellow all over the field everywhere. There was some ludicrous officiating. Obviously, the gunner for the 49ers hanging on the face mask of the Browns player. They tried, had that one wrong. That one where, they didn't give the first down on 3rd inches. PJ Walker, they didn't give him the first down, but he did have the first down. They had to review that, obviously, and it did turn out to be a first down. The referees had a very, very bad day today, which was another thing for the Browns to overcome all those amount of penalties with, obviously not your starting quarterback on the field. That was a great, great job by this team. But Coach Stefanski, the play calling, obviously there was the screen Njoku for the touchdown that was called back. There was the screen later to David Njoku that turned out to be a really nice yardage total. Of course, that was called back as well. They tried a bunch of different things here, and they tried to keep the San Francisco 49ers, on their toes. The San Francisco 49ers really weren't able to get after it today like they normally do. Nick Bosa didn't have a bad day, but he's another one. Nick Bosa did not have a Nick Bosa type day. A lot of that was with DeJuan Jones. Congratulations, DeJuan Jones. He's just out there week in, week out, doing everything he can. There was some sloppiness. Obviously, the sack Nick Bosa got. Wyatt Teller's got to get over to that spot faster. Look, I can understand every now and then a guy gets free, but it should never be the top pass rusher. It should never be the top pass rusher. You should always know where a player like Nick Bosa is on any given day. All of a sudden, the buzz is back in the building in Berea. The buzz is back for the Cleveland Browns fandom. These guys needed this win today. 2-3, going to Indy. Whether or not it's Deshaun Watson is way too early to tell. That would have been a really, really difficult pill to swallow. Now it's 3-2. And playing a team like the Indianapolis Colts, you have the feeling, even if it's not Deshaun, if the Browns perform like the Browns are capable of performing, that should be a winnable game. This team is now 3-2, feeling better about themselves. That game you gave away in Pittsburgh, you've now righted that ship. This is a game against the 49ers that most people felt the Browns never had a shot. It didn't matter if Deshaun was out. It didn't matter if Antonio was out. Heck, it didn't matter. That's how good the San Francisco 49ers are. That is how highly regarded the San Francisco 49ers are. And the Browns took it to them. For 60 minutes, you played with the best team in the NFL right now and came out on top. Your kicker made kicks. And, I've seen some critiques, about how the Browns handled the whole Cade York. That situation is over. You brought Dustin Hopkins in here. And granted, he did miss a field goal today. But 4 for 5. These are money kicks against a really, really good football team, a team that most likely would have won the NFC Championship last year, a team that's most likely going to win the NFC Championship this year. You made their offense look almost ordinary. Everybody talked last week, 49ers, Cowboys, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Well, the 49ers smoked them today, and the Browns were getting their flowers. Their defense was being talked about. Their defense was being respected, and they stayed with it. Look, there were some big running plays that opened up, obviously a couple, doing some of the jet sweep type of stuff. And certainly when McCaffrey went out and Deebo Samuel went out, it took some of the juice out of that offense. Boo-hoo. Browns don't have their quarterback. Browns don't have their top running back. Browns don't have their top offensive lineman. I don't want to hear about anybody else's issues. The Cleveland Browns took it to what is vastly regarded as the top team in the NFL today and came out on top. And again, like I'm saying, everything's going to taste better than coffee tomorrow morning, guys. Everybody's cocktails tonight before bed are going to feel better. We all thought the Browns were going to be on the wrong end of this one today, except for my buddy Jake Burns. Whether he truly meant it or not, or you just want to play contrarian, I don't care. Jake Burns, congratulations. You picked it. Cleveland Browns, this is a huge one. And now all of a sudden the confidence is back. Hopefully Deshaun heals quickly. The thought process of not rushing Deshaun obviously looks even more smart and intelligent right now. There ain't nothing wrong here, Browns fans. And I told you, even if they played hard and lost this game, everything was going to be all right. Well, they played hard, played their tails off, and won this game. And yes, everything is going to be all right. Browns, 1917 victors over the San Francisco 49ers. I am Jeff Lloyd, your host here at Locked On Browns, my 7th season with you all. This was probably the most satisfying W I've been a part of with this team, because this was one where you thought, whew, you all thought a boat race was coming, and especially when the Niners went right down the field, and even that little draw miles in, the little shovel underneath them, and it was just like, oh no. But no, for the next 55 minutes, this team played their hearts out, and they deserve this W and deserve to feel good about themselves. And we'll get ready, cover some more of this, start shifting to the Indianapolis Colts. I just want to thank everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. Of course, the everyday crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I could not be more thankful of that. You guys are awesome. Join the everyday crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on the LOB. Let's go, Browns.